Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. And we are live again. Let me make sure that I am indeed live everywhere else. I'm just checking my phone. Um, just checking my phone. Okay, like we are live everywhere else. Okay, so today is a day two of my masterclass Get Aligned Clients Now. And what we are going to talk about today, we're going to talk about messaging. Also, I encourage you to stay till the end because today I have a guest on my show. I have a guest on my on my presentation, one of my clients, and we're gonna chat later today as well. So, um, now, when it in order to land aligned clients with you, with your business, with your mission, it's super important to have the right messaging. And when it comes to the right messaging, there are a few components that you have to keep in mind. So the first component that you have to keep in mind is who? Who is your person? And this is like, I think this is such an obvious part to understand your avatar, to understand your ideal customer profile, ideal qualified customer profile. And here's the thing. Every single coaching program that I've been a part of, every single one of them starts with who is your who? Who is your customer? Who is your avatar? But this is what I'm noticing in coaching space in general. A lot of clients, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people in those coaching containers, they're missing the steps completely. They're missing the first fundamental step. And then, like, here's the thing, if you don't understand your customer deeper than the gender, deeper than just gender, race, and profession, then it's going to be really hard to market to your customer because understanding your avatar goes way, way beyond deeper than that. So when I say understanding your avatar, what I mean by that is what do they like? Aside from business, aside from career, aside from what they do, what do they like? How do they spend their free time? Are they like more family buddies, or they like to go out, they like to party, they like to go on vacation, they like to travel? What do they like? What are they afraid of, except for the problem that you're solving, right? Obviously, if you're a business coach, like your clients probably are afraid of not landing any clients, not making any money. If you're a career coach, people are afraid not landing a job. What they're afraid of aside from what you're delivering. Go deeper. And this is where, like, and the reason why a lot of entrepreneurs, the reason why a lot of entrepreneurs settle on the surface level when it comes to your customer profile, in my opinion, it is because of the lack of coaching support. Because here's the thing, in my program, when I work with my clients, we almost always start with who is your customer. Even if they show up and say, well, I know my customer, I know them so well, I know who I'm targeting, I know who I'm talking to, like, this is who I want to work with. But in reality, when we start working together, it is way harder than they thought. Way, way, way harder than they thought. Because when we start that, like, dissecting their person, like, okay, what kind of books they're reading, and also a good way to identify your who is when you know them, like, very, very personally. Is when you write your content like you're writing your content for one person, for one person. And this is really important when you already had if you already had clients, you probably had clients that you perfectly align with. Write that content for them. What are they struggle with? Because probably they're not the only one, right? And if you haven't landed clients yet, and you're more so like building your avatar based on your past self, then talk to your past self. It's a little bit harder, y'all, because again, you are not your customer. But if you were to talk to your past self, what would you like to hear? What books did you read back then? What TV shows did you watch back then? So like, and this is where the problem in coaching industry, like in general, we don't go beyond surface level, and which is like, well, I serve women, I serve I don't know, um you name it. I serve overachievers. I serve I don't know, like passionate professionals. Like it's really really generic, and like in order to speak to your customer, you have to know them, you have to know them really really well. And for my career coaching professionals, for my career coaches, this is what we're also guilty of. Like this is what also what a lot of career coaches are guilty of. Who are you helping? Well, I can help anybody who can, like, who is aiming for a higher role, who is aiming for a leadership role. But who is your person? Like who is the best customer that you can deliver like services? And also like when it comes to career services in specifically, right? And this is a hill that I'm going to die on, that you either like if you're like, if you are too generic, right? If you are too generic, then it's going to be really hard to land high ticket coaching clients because you are serving everybody. And there are a lot of resume writers, there are a lot of career coaches, there are a lot of people who like, they're just like you. How you differentiate yourself? For example, when I started my business, right? This is what helped me to build my business during recession, when my industry is full of fear, full of uncertainty, full of like undecisiveness, because I knew exactly who I was talking to, and also a lot of engineers could relate to me, right? And like, no wonder that I have a lot of, because I am a senior mobile developer, I'm a senior iOS developer. No wonder so many people in my career coaching program are iOS developers. Because again, one person who I am talking to. So um we gotta move. We gotta move. So like like another portion of your messaging is your what. What problem you are solving. What problem you are solving. So here's another pitfall that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially new entrepreneurs, are falling really flat and struggle with. Like, what is one problem that you're trying to solve? And this is important to understand. Your one problem that you're trying to solve is really important to understand. Why? Because later on today, we're going to talk about customer awareness, problem unaware, problem aware, solution aware. We're going to dive a little bit more than that. Like there are more than 3 stages. But if you don't know the problem that you're solving, then how you gonna shift them through different levels of awareness? Like, and this is why what kind of problem, what problem you are solving is important. What you're selling is important. For example, I help service-based entrepreneurs, coaches, to get more clients through social media without paid ads. That's the premise of my coaching. I teach organic, I leverage LinkedIn, I leverage social media, And I help people to get clients either of the LinkedIn or of the other social media. I'm also not that kind of coach who will say, well, like you have like 10,000 followers on Instagram and you have really good hot leads there. So let's stop there. Let's start LinkedIn where you have no followers, no authority, and start from scratch because it is my platform. And then like stop the cash flow that they already have. I'm also not that kind of coach, but also like if you're looking for a platform where people are better, like buy better, but right? Because again, yesterday we were talking about like your origin story, right? What is the platform where you can tell like when you tell your origin story? And if you missed my live stream yesterday, go back to my page. I did restream today at noon Pacific time, but go back and look at the origin story and look what is connecting and look at that, right? So, like what? Now your program promise. Your program promise. What do you promise to your prospect? What do you promise to your customer when they work with you? And when you connect who, what, and how, this is your program promise, and this is goes to your messaging. And this is very like this is what I give my clients. And I have Donovan today, like my client, and we're gonna chat a little bit later. But like this is the literally the formula that I give my clients. I help who to do what, and I help with or without or through what is the vehicle of transformation. Like for example, for for one of my clients, right? Like I help IT support specialists to do what? To break into web development without spending thousands of dollars on bootcamp. This is a program promise. This is a program promise. Also, like some people say that it's your offer. So, what is your offer? What is your offer? So, this is your offer. This is your program promise. This is your offer. Different coaches say it differently. Again, many people miss that. And like, let's chat about that. Listen, I'm spilling all of the tea about coaching industry right now. And listen, I can only imagine how other coaches might get mad at me because we have a problem, y'all. In coaching industry in general, we have a problem. We don't have the lack of coaching. We don't have the lack of coaching. We don't have the lack of coaches. If I were to look for another business coach, I can just go on LinkedIn, I can go on Instagram, I can go on YouTube, and I can probably gonna hit like 20 business coaches. The problem with coaching industry right now is the lack of access. It's not the lack of coaching, it's the lack of access. Because I don't know about anybody else, but this is why we have such a diverse market. I don't know anybody else, but I got into coaching industry because I want to work with people, because I want to give people access to me. And no, I'm not brand names influencer who've been in coaching for 20 years, Tony Robbins, like I don't know, other big name, Kaylee Roach, you name other, I don't know, like big coaches. I'm not that. But when I'm there, I want people to have access to me. I want people to have that white glove experience. I still want to do onboardings. I still want to have very, very personalized experiences with me and get the coaching and show up for them and know that they're gonna get me. That's my highest priority when it comes to coaching. So, and this is like again, when I talk to other people and other coaches, and they might say like, "Well, I'm already working with somebody," but ask yourself, do you have access? What kind of access do you have with your coach? Are you going through the fundamentals with your coach? Do you know who is your who? Do you know your program promise? And is your message landing? And if your messaging is not landing when it's not landing, and do you know why it's not landing? Do you know what you need to fix? Do you have enough support that you can say, like, that, listen, every strategy, every strategy can work. Also, every strategy and any strategy might not work for you specifically, either because you are implementing it wrong, your audience is not taking that strategy well. You need to pivot and shift and do something differently. But in order to do that analysis, first of all, you need to be able to step aside from your business and look at it. And sometimes it is hard to do with that proper support. Sometimes you need that like assistant surgeon and do surgery on your business, and that assistant surgeon will look at your business and like, you know what, like, shift this, shift that, like, feel this, feel that. This is the problem. Because sometimes we're so much in our business, because when, like, for example, when my coaches would say like, this is messaging, this is messaging, this is messaging, like, what do you mean, bro? Like, just tell me what you mean, just tell me what I'm missing, just tell me what's wrong with my messaging. All right, I promise I'm almost done. All right. Now, the challenger model, right? Like, it's also a vehicle to deliver your message, right? And this is not like, this is mostly the challenger sales model, focus on sales, right? But again, you can incorporate that before sales calls begin, before you get people on the sales call, right? You got to get people on the sales call. And let me tell you right now, if I learn anything in business, that it's really, really hard to get people on the sales call sometimes. If your messaging is not right, if it's not hitting right, like, it's really hard that people get on the consultation call. And and this is why it is important to structure your messaging correctly. Like, so it starts with your leadership. You take control over your messaging and you lead your people, because people right now crave safety. People right now want and crave safety. And this is where your leadership shows up. When you lead your people, when you show up as a leader, people feel safer with you. Also, strategically educate, like, you educate your prospect for differentiation. You tell people, like, you tell your people that other people don't say. And this is why it is important to not to copy anybody. Because when you start copying it, like when you start copying your coach that you like, big name coaches, then you start sounding like everybody else. Like everybody else. Right. And and also, when you teach people, when you educate your customer, you educate based on the data that you get from your customer. You literally educate them on actual data, on actual gaps, on actual problems that those people are having right now. And that's gonna put you like, that's gonna set you aside, because we often teach about our solution as coaches. Listen, as coaches, we often teach about our solution. My program does X, Y, and Z. We have 6 calls a month. We do curriculum. We do sales call. We do X, Y, and Z. But nobody educates. Nobody educates on the problem that people are having right now, right? And when you start educating, right, for example, right now I do strategic education for differentiation. I'm telling you that, like, a lot of entrepreneurs are confused about their qualified uh, customer, right? Because they don't have enough support in coaching space, because they just zoom through it, because they think that they know it, and because their coaches don't ask them too many questions about that. Like, well, like, who is your, what is your avatar? Who do you serve? I'm like, okay, did we go deeper? Taylor. Also, Taylor, like, this is why like, this is another hill that I'm going to die on with my coaching program. I tailor my coaching. I tailor my coaching to deliver results to each and every client. I have a standard process. I have a standard curriculum. Everything is standardized. But again, I work with people. I work with people. If I wanted to just deliver a standard solution, I would have developed a course and sold a course without working with people one on one. Like you don't need me on the call. Like everything is standardized, but tailoring your messaging, tailoring your delivery to your particular, again, to your particular person. You have to know your person. uh that's really important. And also when you lead, it's important to lead, it's important to lead to your solution. So as a result, right, in order to get support, in order to get to get to know your ideal customer, in order to get to know your messaging, in order to know how to educate your customer, you need to work with a coach who will give you personalized approach and work with you either in a smaller intimate capacity or in one-on-one, or when one-on-one coaching is available. And I have that offer for you. See how I didn't start with like, hey, listen, hire me because we're gonna work one-on-one. We're gonna meet every week. We're gonna do every call is gonna be recorded. We're gonna do X, Y, and Z. We're gonna do sales training. No, like I started educating on the gaps that entrepreneurs have right now. Why people are not landing clients right now, why you have, like, this is why people have optimized LinkedIn profiles, optimized Instagram profiles, optimized social media profiles, but no clients, because they are missing this component. They're missing essential components, and they're missing support to fill the gaps. Oh, I'm working with somebody, but do you have the access? Do you have the support? Yes, you are working with somebody, absolutely. And your coach might be phenomenal, but do you get the support that you need to fix and close your gaps right now? I, I'm like, I don't know, I'm getting fired up for no reason. All right. I'm almost done. Listen, so levels of customer awareness. This is also important. We're not gonna dive super deep, but also when you create your content, like a lot of people jump right into the problem, or right into the solution, right? I'm gonna lend you clients. I'm gonna help you sell, to make sales. I'm gonna help you to land a job. But like your ideal customer might not be able to understand or hear you because they're either problem unaware, they don't know that they have a problem, and your marketing falls flat on them, and they're like, cool story, bro, but like I don't think it's I don't think I don't think that I have that problem. Something is bothering me, but I don't know if that is it. Right? Then problem aware. They know what the problem is. But they don't know what could be possible solution. For example, for career coaches, right? A lot of people think that the problem is with the resume. But the problem is sometimes it's not with the resume. Sometimes it is the lack of network. Sometimes it is the lack of expertise. Sometimes it is the lack of executive presence. Solution aware. Solution aware is when people know what solution can be applicable to them. Right. And this is where you start differentiating your solution, why your solution is the solution, right? Product aware. And this is interesting. Like, let's say you are service-based entrepreneur, you're a service provider, or you are a coach. What is the product? When you deliver service, overall, you deliver service. What is the product? The product is your coaching program. The product is the vehicle of transformation. So make the product aware. make them product aware, like how, like, and this is kind of goes into your pitch video, right? Into your, like, when you start like talking about your services, when they know specifically how you can help them. This is about specifics. This is about your weekly coaching calls. This is about your unique methodology. This is your um and this is about how you gonna make a difference for them. So like this is about that. This is about that. So, and also, and most aware. And when people in the stage of most aware, like they like right there and then they know that they want to work with you. They know that your program can help you, and now they need hand holding. Like it might be DM conversations, it might be something else, it might be the content when you are reassuring to them to bet on themselves. For example, in my business, right, sometimes I would post content specifically for very specific people who were most aware, who were teetering on their decisions, and I will post content very timely specifically for them. And the people liked it. But then when I did the survey for my customers, like, what did you hire me? And they said, like, well, your content. Like like it's like you were speaking to me, like, because I was, right? All right. So I want to bring a guest on stage. I have a guest. I have my client with me. I have Donovan with me. Donovan, are you there? Hello, my friend. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. How are you, Eugene?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for joining me today. Um, so let's get started. Like, tell us a little bit about yourself, right? Like, what kind of business you are running, or what kind of business you are building, and what is your why behind your business? Let's start there.
Yeah, so my name is Donovan Brown. I am a web developer, mostly front end, and the business I'm running is a coaching business to get people into web development, to help people, who don't have a mentor or just don't understand web development, just need a little bit of help to get them to that next stage, to land clients, to get a job, and just to be successful in web development.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, like I love what you do, and I think in tech space, we can never have enough like good mentors, and especially with you, like I know your very inspiring story. So, but can you tell us about before we started working together, right? And like we had a different like interview conversation that like you're probably gonna watch in the middle of this week, probably like I don't know, like tomorrow or on Thursday, one of those days. So we kind of went through that, but uh can you kind of walk me through where you were before we started working together, and what was like what difference like you started seeing in you, in your business, in your mindset after we started working together?
Sure. So before I was using another platform to sell my coaching services, and the platform that I used, it was very different. It was straightforward, but it wasn't enough for me to like find like value or get like a return on investment using that platform. And not only that, but I had issues with marketing. I only had at the time a few clients that signed up, and it was more discovery calls, but they would never return back. And so that was an issue that was running into with that particular situation. And so it was very interesting again because I just didn't know how to communicate my service. And so I think that for me, the need that I needed was someone to give me a little bit of a guidance and an extra boost towards, being a little bit more affirmative and marketing myself more more firmly, And so I remember, Eugene, you reached out to me a few months ago. You connected with me on LinkedIn, actually. And so I think you code approached me or sent me a message. I don't remember. It's been a while. Well, just a few months, but it's just, so, and then you did a live stream. I joined. I think I joined one of the first live streams you did in January, or no, it was December. No, we connected in December. I remember it was a little bit before Christmas now, but January is when I pulled the triggers. Like, hey, let me see what you're talking about. But yeah, December, one of your live streams, maybe before Christmas, I jumped into, and you just, I know this is a common thing, but you spoke to me. So I felt connected to you. And so I decided to just, give you a try and schedule something with you and see what you're all about and see how serious you was, because I've talked to other coaching mentors before, or so-called coaching mentors, I would say, and they typically run like pyramid schemes, or like want you to sell something. One previous one was one where they wanted me to sell like groceries. And at first we had conversations back and forth on LinkedIn about IT, web development, and it sounded really cool. And then once I got on a call with them, it's just like, here's this charts and graphs of like breads and cereals they wanted me to sell. And I'm like, I don't think this is for me. Sorry. So, but after that call, I politely declined. But they were really excited for me to get on board, and they were just like so fixated on me. And I'm like, no, this is not my speed. So, but you were different. You understood the issue I was having, and you were able to diagnose that, and we were able to work together on some solutions on how to get past that, on how to market myself, how to, price my services, and just find some common ground when it comes to just, starting a business, because this is my first business I'm starting, and I just didn't know left from right when it came to that. So,
Yeah. And like I think this is so timely because we were just talking about like the challenger sales model, right? Like they were leading basically with their solution, with a bag of cereal, like this is what you sell. And like that's probably was like affiliate marketing or network marketing, like stuff and stuff like
mhm.
that. But yeah, like I appreciate that. What specifically resonated with you? Because this is also the most fascinating part when I talk to people, and a lot of people say like, "Hey, um, something about you resonated with me," and and by the way, like if you're trying to land clients, like you probably gonna hear that feedback a lot. Well, you resonated with me, but what specifically resonated with you?
I think the fact that you were curious about me, you were curious about my background. Typically, people who sell items or sell like a service, and they probably don't care in some ways. I'm not saying all, but they get off that impression, right? Of like, hey, or you can see right through them, where it's more so, I know what you're trying to do. I know you're trying to sell me on this. And you can just see right through them. You can see their scheme. And so you came off very and you in a genuine way that spoke to me. No, being a dead horse with that spoken to me, but you actually, whatever you use, very specific things to get into my background, understand where I was coming from, understand the solution. You were able to diagnose it. And that was something that it was some things that I didn't realize that I was doing until you were able to like identify that, right? And talk about that and say, hey, I think I have, I think I understand what's going on. Here's the things that you need to work on. Here's some suggestions. Here is some, some resources that I can point you to. And here's what I have to offer. And so it just sounded sweet, even though, again, I was hesitant because again, I've been down these roads of like, people trying to sell me stuff where I'm just unsure. And some of that nervousness got with me at first initially, but after sitting on it and thinking about it and thinking how you approach me in a more genuine way that came off as comforting and caring, then that sort of like those thoughts slowly went away and kind of like just decreased.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And another interesting factor that a lot more than one person told me, that they also consulted with, and this is absolutely new to me, and I don't even know how to react because you consulted with your family, right? Because a lot of my clients, one of my very first clients, she said like, well, your father found you and now he knows everything about you. He found your website, he found your YouTube channel, he knows everything about you, and he is so happy that I'm working with you. I'm like, okay. I was like indirectly introduced to family members. My recent client also said, like, hey, my significant other said like X, Y, and Z, and like influenced my decision to like actually work with you. You said the same thing, that like you actually spoke with your like, because like I feel like and this is what is so important when you show up as a coach authentically, and when you're here to serve oversell, then even family members that are not your ideal clients, they're not like, I don't know your family, but they probably not everybody is entrepreneur and a coach, right? They're probably from different backgrounds. It's probably not my target audience, right? But like when your light is shining, and when you walk in your God given assignment and God given alignment, right? Even people who are not in your target audience, they see your light, and they go like, you know what, you should work with that person because like I can see that light, and like that means so much to me. And also we were talking about today the lack of access in coaching industry, because a lot of the time what happens, people sign up with big name coaches, big brand coaches, because we have a lot of good content creators and not enough coaches who can actually coach and lead you through it. When people sign up, they have some sort of course to watch, and then that coach may almost never show up, or it's a very rare occasion when that specific coach shows up in a coaching program and actually coaches and mentors them. And instead, they're working with their team members, their assistant. And, like some coaches communicate that better than others, because at least I know that I'm not going to work with that coach. And some coaches don't. Some coaches, it's only me, myself, and I. But when you enroll, all of a sudden there's a program coach. A coach goes on sabbatical and never shows up on the course like halfway through the program. So, what was your experience? Like, how much access did you get in my program? How much access do you get to me on the course, outside of the course, just working together?
Yeah, I mean, I think the access is pretty responsive, to be honest. The fact that you have a Slack channel that I can talk to you through, the fact that you respond, it seemed like you live on Slack in some cases, as fast as you respond sometimes. And so, it's really reassuring to know that I have like this almost immediate access to you and get some advice and get some type of leadway, even if it's something that's small or something that I don't quite understand that I need a question on, or I just need some clarification. Like for example, last week with that one weird video that was like, I don't know about this. What do you think about this? I need to look into this. And then you gave, and I was a little bit worried about it because, whatever the lady said. And so and you were able to this is not something that you should really be concerned with, Donovan, for what you're doing. It's and the fact that you were able to just isolate that and put me at a calm ease with that was really, really good. And typically, like you said, like other leaders or coaches, or I would say even instructors for even online courses, you don't have direct access to them, right? Or sometimes like they're being there, like uh in participating and responding to questions, but it's typically, you have to wait a day, you have to wait, or a week or something, because that person may be on vacation or just maybe abandonment, or well, it's not abandonment, but just for other reasons, just not available. And so, it kind of gives question community and other community members have to, pick up and answer. And so, well, what you have, it's not like that. And it's very, very different and more, responsive. So that's what I appreciate.
Yeah, yeah. And like I remember that video though, like I mean, like it's for me personally, it's like annoyance because like I don't give you tax advice because I'm not tax professional. Also, like there are coaches who will tell you like I will give you the best tax strategy for your business. I'm not CPA, I'm not certified, I'm not qualified. And like even though I preach the message that you don't have to be qualified, you just have to go for it. Like certain things like law, immigration law, taxes, how to create your contracts. Like, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a tax professional. Consult with services accordingly. For me, it's just like annoyances, and like you're absolutely right. And you know, this is like I was reflecting on that because like at some point I might have a community manager who will answer your questions, but also um I was reflecting like on that like does it really bother me, right, that and like that's my choice, right? I can either look at the Slack or I may not look at the Slack, right? Like I make a conscious decision. For example, if it is Saturday night, I'm probably not gonna look at the Slack, but I make a mental note to respond to you like Monday morning. Or like if I feel extra expired, I might respond, so like stuff like that. um but like my last question, well, before the last question,
Mhm.
so what made you to invest in yourself? Because people sometimes say, hey, like, well, it's an investment, well, it is expensive, well, it is not cheap. And listen, personally, right, like we're gonna talk about the price just in a second. And when I talk to my business coaches and when I talk to my sales coach said, "Hey, your program is 5500. It's not like 5577 painful. It is not. And if you have that price, it should be just painful and go home or go home." And I said, "You know what? Like I started my business to be like to provide access, right? And to and how do I put it? I I I created my services to reach more people, especially now, especially when there's like recession, tough economic times, and a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with messaging. This is why I decided to provide this option for a short period of time. Listen, those prices are not going to stay forever. And you, Donovan, you know that you didn't sign up for the price that I'm selling my program right now. It was a little bit cheaper. Let's just be transparent because like when I grow is exponentially with the price that you see today, you're not gonna see tomorrow. Probably. Well, you may not even see that price next week, or not next week, next month, because again, I listened to the market, I adjusted the market, I raised my price, right? Like that, how Gary Vee said, like, hey, like listen to the market. If market buys, raise your price. So, what motivated to invest? Like, why invest?
Honestly, there's a couple of reasons, Eugene, why I invested. Well, for one, I've always invested in myself. and I'm always learning. The investment in myself was being able to take action to, change my lifestyle. So when I got into web development, a little bit about my story. I was started from computer support, and I taught myself web development. So that was me taking that actual step and investing in myself. So now, was it hard? Yes. Was it easy? Not really. And so it was a lot of things that I had to like learn and have and there was a lot of growing pains that came with that, right? And so, but at the end of the day, I achieved what I wanted to achieve. And so, the next stage in my life is, getting into this business. And the thing about it is, with like how you said, like the one thing that really got me more curious about doing a business is the fact of the recent tech layoffs, the recession.
Hmm.
I have colleagues right now who are laid off or are still looking for jobs. Developers, talented engineers I worked with for years, that are still on the market and still, for whatever reason, having a hard time finding employment. And so that made me think a lot about like, okay, this could happen to anybody. It's some scary and some unforeseen times that are hard to predict right now. And so I think the best things that we can do is invest ourselves and make ourselves more versatile than ever before. We're living in probably one of the best ages in history as far as like development, free education, cheap training, a
Hmm.
combination of those where, it's just accessible. You don't have to go anywhere. You can be in your pajamas and learn this stuff online. 20, 30 years ago, you couldn't do that, right? You had to actually go somewhere, you had to read a book. Now it's just you're live, you can talk to people, you communicate with people. Um, that just says something. So I think we're living in a time where there's opportunities for everybody, and you just have to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to fail and fail forward. And then at the end of the day, you'll be okay.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And also, not to mention, we also do a lot of speaking of the times, we also do a lot of AI training, but it's not what you think. It's not like dump everything in ChatGPT or whatever machine and then like tweak it a little bit. It's like utilize ChatGPT, utilize other market research tools, and then give ChatGPT really, really hard time so it can give you really, really good copy. And sometimes scrap everything and go with your own like because literally we were working on one of your titles for your presentations, right? I said like, well, like screw chat gpt, screw those titles. Like at this point you go where your people are at, and yeah, no, it's not gonna be a 70 and above score for your title. But what is a more, this is kind of what we're going to talk about on Thursday, right? Like how your messaging is getting lost in technology and how technology can literally replace you if you're not careful. And this is why I say, hey, like that title, like, it doesn't speak to me. It just
Mm.
doesn't. Like I want to learn more. So like yeah, like anything to add to that, like how was that experience? Because also there are a lot of coaches who say like, we will teach you how to use chat gpt, we will teach you how to launch your program with ai. I will teach you how to launch your program with ai, but I I'm not gonna let you lose your message through the technology and abdicate your power to technology, but rather enhance it. So, like anything to add to that?
Yeah, AI is very popular right now. Everybody either likes it or hates it or just in the middle, right? And so I think it's very interesting and fascinating. But I agree. I think AI should be used as more of a tool than a crutch. And we have to be careful about that because it's easier to get lost in the sauce with that with
Mm-hmm.
AI and just rely on it too heavenly where it just becomes like a you're separating yourself, right? It just becomes
Right.
like now you're talking like a machine. You're talking very machine. You're talking in
Mhm. You
zeros
talk
and
like
ones.
ChatGPT because this is
Yeah.
very, very particular style. Like, well, like that's just gaudy.
Yep, yep. So and it's easy to fall into that once you're, kind of in the zone, or maybe you're just not realizing it until someone's like, "Hey, this sounds very chat GPT-ish," or not as it like you say, it doesn't connect to me, right? So, you know, um I think that's good. Again, that comes back to you just caring, and just instead of just you could have just been like, "Oh yeah, this sounds good, Donovan. That's fine. Whatever."
Yeah.
Show it up, but you were able to recognize, like, wait a second, I think we can do, we can work on this a little bit more. So
Yeah. Well, like I appreciate you and by the way, I'm checking the chat. Let us know if you have any questions. Say hello in the chat. Say hello what kind of business you're running, and let us know if you have any questions. So, speaking of, let me tell you about like the early bird special. So, and I'm gonna keep you Donovan on the screen because like I'm gonna ask you about access to career legacy here in a second because like you
mhm.
are one of the engineers who took advantage of my like 2-for-1 offer. So, um, early bird special. If you want the mic that I have that Donovan has. Like, by the way, I recommended Donovan this mic. Like, he was like, "How do I do live stream? Like, what technology do I use? Like, what kind of mic do I use?" And like back then, I used Blue Yeti, right? Blue Yeti is about like $300. And I said, you know what? Like you just started your business, you're working on your first client, so let's not increase our business expenses. Let's get like really good mic that is not gonna break the bank, but is gonna bring really, really good sound. So if you sign up with me for pay in full for 35.77 today. And by the way, when I say painful, sometimes you see like it's 35.77, but you see like Klarna option, Afterpay option, you can use them because on my end you pay in full, but you credited it or like you finance it through third party. On my end, you paid in full. On my end, you get the mic. On your end, how you want to budget it, it's up to you. If you are if you're eligible, if it is applicable, if if it makes sense. But I personally put my expenses, educational expenses. I personally use credit card. Like I don't know, everybody is different. I use credit card for my coaching, so like I put all of my almost all of my coaching on my credit card. But when you pay in full, you get the mic. You get 90 minute session with me as well. So again, the access. Sometimes like I don't know about you, but like I know a lot of strategies, right? It's not like I've been through a lot of coaching programs. And sometimes you start working with a coach and you might think, well, I just want to see, like, I just want to, like, kind of like GPS map. I just want to see the whole map. Like, how do I get there? And this is like where we zoom out and we go and I'm gonna show you the GPS map. And then throughout 6 months, we're gonna work together. My program was 6 months. Throughout 6 months, we're gonna work together to get to your destination. To get to the destination, we're gonna work on sales, uh, training. We're gonna work on your messaging. We're gonna work on your content strategy. And by the way, Donovan, this is another thing. Like we do a lot of sales training. What is like, because this is another hill that I'm going to die on, right? Like a lot of coaches, like what they consider sales training, it is just the video how to do high ticket coaching sales. What can you say about sales training with me? What was your experience? Like, is it just a video? Is it just one and done? Or like, is it something that we can like constantly practice together?
Well, I can say for confidence, it's something that we can practice together. You jump on a stream with me and or a call with me, and we practice it. This was something that I don't know how to do, or didn't know how to do at the time. And something I really needed some structure on and learn how to do better appropriately. And so the experience when you pitched to me and I was the buyer and you were the seller, I learned a lot from that. I wrote down notes. I looked at the video like 2 or 3 times, and then once it was vice versa, the next time we met, it was much better. I think if I would have went first, I probably would have most likely struggled. So
Mhm.
getting that lesson from you on like this is how I would do it, and coming up with my own way of how to like not so much copy you from a T, but just doing it in my own way that is that parries you, or just have some inspiration from what you did, helped me to build that confidence of like, oh, this is not that bad. This is how you do it. This is how effective it can be. And then once you gave me that feedback of like, hey, you actually did pretty well. It's just, here's some areas you can improve on, which, that's to be
Mhm.
expected. And so it was just a good growing learning experience. So I did like it very much.
Yeah, yeah. So 35.77 for pay in full, and you get the mic, and like the mics are amazing. So especially if you use it in Zoom and stream it through Zoom, the sound is just it's just beautiful. So full if you are like Donovan, if you are a software engineer and if you are entrepreneur in tech, you will have 2 for 1. Just ask like, hey, like I wanna have access to Career Legacy. I would like to learn, like, because I'm not that kind of entrepreneur or business coach who said, like, quit your job, don't do your full time job, build your business. Because sometimes your business is connected with your job. For example, for Donovan, like he's a software developer, like he literally works with his leads every day. Like if he, this is how he connects with and networks for his business, literally, right? And again, uh sometimes I remember once I was disqualified for one coaching program because the coach said, like, you know what, you don't want to quit your 9 to 5. I said, like, no, I don't, because I love what I do. Why would I quit my job without having a sustainable business? And also, like, on Thursday, Jason, right, like we're gonna Jason is also gonna tell you that we work on both. Like we both, Jason was so passionate about entrepreneurship when we started working together, but he needed to land a job. Business is not get rich quick. Business is not like, hey, like once I land in the business, I have steady paycheck. No, you have to work on your steady paycheck. And the more, like, the faster you get the entrepreneur that can sustain your business, the faster your stable paycheck from your business will come to your wallet. But it's a consistent work. We have to work together. So, like, literally, really briefly, like, what is your experience with like dual membership, like with Career Legacy and like with business coaching? How was like for you? Because like you are on both calls sometimes. Sometimes we have our call right before the Career Legacy, and then 30 minutes later, like I see you on the call with the Career Legacy as well. But you drop at some point, right? You don't sit like, because I understand. Listen, 2 hours of coaching, that's too much. What's your experience?
Yeah, it's very positive. Again, I'm a go-getter. I like to work hard, and I have some free time on my hands to just do both. And it's been a great experience, just to hear other people's struggles, and listening to what's going on in the current job market right now, because it is evolving, it's changing. People are learning new things, and sometimes it's a little bit challenging not having some sort of guide or some sort of like thought leader to coach you through these things. And so it's just a good, fantastic experience when it comes to your future and where you want to go in life, where you want to go in your job, where you want to go in your career. So yeah, I'm learning a lot from it. And I've been in a job, looking at jobs and paying attention to jobs in the market, and I'm still learning stuff. So it's just
Yeah.
always learning.
Yeah, absolutely. So, also, because I love y'all, whoever whoever pulls the trigger, and if you are the first person in my system purchasing the program until Wednesday, you're gonna have actually both. You're gonna have camera and the mic, and you have the full complete creator kit to start creating your video, to start putting your messaging out there. But again, it's only for one person and one person only. And it's going to end tomorrow on Wednesday. So if you want to do it, you got to do it now. If you want to do it, you got to do it now. Because I want to reward people who say yes to themselves and make bold decisions. And by the way, let me know if you have any questions in the chat. So I'm monitoring my LinkedIn. I can look at every social media platform. So like the best way to ask questions, of course, to jump on Zoom. But if you're not on the Zoom, ask questions in the chat. But yeah, like literally for like one bonus available. Because I was thinking about like, you know what, I'm probably gonna make it for 4,500, and whoever purchases it, like pay in full, I'm gonna give it to every single person who purchases my program for 4,500. But then I was thinking like, you know what? Like this time around, again, like like Donovan knows my prices, they never stay low for a long time. So like you know what? This time around, I'm gonna run it for 35.77, and first come, first serve, one bonus. Whoever pulls the trigger first, I will make that gift to you. And like, listen, I'm a man of integrity, so I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna lie to you. So I'm probably like, listen, I like I like to celebrate my clients. I love to celebrate my clients, and if I like, and this is why I do bonuses. This is why I do giveaways. This is why I reward people. Also, if you want to split payment into 1927 into payments, you're not gonna get the mic or camera, but you're gonna have 90-minute session with me. You're gonna have that GPS map zoom out, and like I'm gonna tell you like this is where we're going, this is how we're gonna get there. So 90 minutes business strategy VIP session with me again. Or like if it's still too much, like you can split it into 6 payments of $750, but it is without bonuses. It is without bonuses. So like I personally think if you do the math, and if you want to pull the trigger, 35.77 is the most like is the most affordable option, and you get the mic and you get the camera if you're the first one. Like that would like unless if I were you, I would pull the trigger right there and then. Like, but it's just me because like 1927 it's a little bit more, I think it is like 3,800, something like that in some sense. 750 per month overall will result in 4,500, because listen, at some point there is a limit. So but again, early bird special will end on Thursday, and I will run my early bird special through my training, because on Wednesday, tomorrow, we're meeting at 4 o'clock, and I am like it says at 4 p.m. I'm going to run it until 5 p.m. Okay. So literally tomorrow, like after my Zoom is done, after my stream is done, early bird special is done. So if you want to get your early bird special, you better get it today. You better get it today. So tomorrow we're going to talk about Challenger sale model. Homework for everybody. Homework for everybody. In the group, if you're not in the group, please join my private link in the group and tell us about your avatar. Tell us about your program, and tell us about your program promise. Literally, if you implement those elements right now and you go and you create content around it, you might have a client. Literally, you might have a client. So go and do, like, if you don't know how to get to the LinkedIn group, ask me. I will add you to LinkedIn group and you can do the homework there. All right. So thank you so much, Donovan. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, for spending your time with us. We're running a little over. And I will see you all tomorrow at 4